Heirs of Mesopotamia living in Georgia. Excerpt from the article Know Each Other Better. There is not a single country in the world where people of different nationalities live. Georgia was no exception, where Jews, Greeks, Armenians, and Turks lived in the pre-Christian period. One of the youngest in terms of resettlement, the German community recently celebrated the 190th anniversary of moving from the land of Württemberg to Georgia. The contribution of representatives of various diasporas to the development of politics, economics, science, and culture of their own historical homelands is great. Yezidis are the oldest inhabitants, aborigines of the East. Their historical cradle is Upper Mesopotamia. The Yazidi religion is considered one of the oldest religions in the world, dating back over 5,000 years. This religion dates back to the times of Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria. The Yazidi religion has had a significant impact on the foundations of the religious teachings of Mazdaism and Zoroastrianism. Despite the antiquity of its origin, Sharfadin is a monotheistic religion, that is, it preaches monotheism. Yezidis worship the supreme god Hoda and his triad. In the understanding of the Yezidis, as well as in the understanding of Jews, Christians, Muslims, God is the creator and patron of the world, of all things. From the Almighty comes all good and evil. The religious ideas of the Yezidis about the transmigration of souls completely coincide with the ideas existing in other world religions. It is noteworthy that Sharfadin as a creed has been almost completely preserved to the present time. The Yezidis have a widespread opinion about the deity and the meaning of the word Ezidi. According to their ideas, it means God, and the Yezidis themselves are created by God and followers of God. At present, we can only talk about two sacred religious books: Kate Jelva, Book of Revelation, and Maskatha Rashi, Black Chronicle, which are located in the holy temple of the Yezidis Lailesh, located in the mountains of Sinjar, northern Kurdistan, the territory of modern Iraq. These books became known thanks to the English missionary Father Parry. Soon they were translated into Chaldean, Assyrian, Arabic, Greek, Latin, etc. languages. Lailesh is the holy place of all Yezidis. It is a temple of the Yazidi religion. The entrance to it is guarded by a stone statue of a snake. The Yezidis have been persecuted throughout their history. They were subjected to forced assimilation, forcing them to turn away from their faith. The process of persecution and physical extermination of Yezidis can be divided into several stages. The first stage begins in the 7th century with the emergence of monotheistic beliefs of the Middle East, as well as the advance of the Arabs into Mesopotamia, who expanded their influence throughout the Middle East. It was during that period that a significant part of the followers of the Yazidi faith, under the guise of Zoroastrianism, together with the Zoroastrians, left their ancestral places of residence and fled to Iran and India, two relatively safe places. The second stage of the persecution of the Yezidis falls in the late Middle Ages, and the third and fourth in the New and Modern periods. The fate of the Yezidis is very peculiar and tragic. Some of them were forced to abandon the faith of their ancestors and adopt new religions in order to survive. This circumstance can be considered one of the reasons for the reduction in the number of Yezidis. Large tribal associations of Yezidis refused other religions, that is, their acceptance, and defended the religion of their ancestors with weapons in their hands. Russian-Iranian, Russian-Turkish and Crimean wars resulted in a small part of the Yezidis becoming subjects of the Russian Empire, in particular in Armenia and Georgia. Several tens of thousands of Yezidis lived compactly in Georgia in the cities of Tbilisi, Tel Aviv, Rostov, as well as in Batumi. Before the collapse of the USSR in Georgia, much attention was paid to socio-economic and cultural educational issues. So, in the 1920s, a boarding school for orphans was opened, educational committees for the elimination of illiteracy were created, 9-month teacher courses were opened, the so-called Kurdish Club, the Yezidis of Georgia in the USSR were called Kurds, in view of political expediency. The government involved 2 primary and 1 7-year national schools. A section of Yazidi writers was created at the Union of Writers of Georgia. Folklore ensembles of song and dance were created. There was a national theater, later called the National Theater, which was the only theater of Yezidis in the entire territory of the former USSR. A national program was broadcast on Georgian radio, and circles for the study of native language and literature were opened. Representatives of this nationality held positions in state government bodies. They were members of the government and parliament. The population was closely integrated into the general republican life and considered themselves full citizens of Georgia on an equal basis with other national minorities. Unfortunately, all this was in the past. Since the beginning of the 1990s, the social, cultural and legal situation of the Yazidis has deteriorated sharply. For some reason, the above-mentioned cultural groups have ceased to function. Despite the efforts of the public and the weak support of some government figures, it is impossible to restore the past in the field of culture. Due to the lack of a basis for the study and preservation of religion, the Yazidi diaspora and clergy are unable to disseminate the dogmas and teachings of a unique monotheistic religion among young people in the population.